I'm pleased to say I'm joined by the recent WDF Women's World Championship finalist, Kirsty Hutchinson. Thanks for the time, Kirsty. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Good to hear. And firstly, it's been a few weeks now since your run to the final at Lakeside. How do you look back on that run now, making it to your first World Championship final?
Yeah, that was something I never imagined doing. I set about the tournament just to kind of win game one. And then as the week went on, I got better, the standard got better. Saturday was just unreal to go 2 sets up. I know it went all the way to the deciding leg, but to hit that double and then the commentator say you're into the world final, it was just an experience I didn't think I'd ever have.
We'll obviously come back onto that week at Lakeside, but when we last spoke on this show, you just won the Welsh Open to secure your spot, but 2 weeks before the start date, the WDF World Championship was postponed. What was your reaction when you saw the news?
To be fair, when I got the call to say that it'd been postponed, I wasn't too fussed really, because I wasn't putting any effort in on the board. I was just kind of saying, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow never came. And Natalie Gilbert kind of pushed me into practicing every night. We did best of 5 sets from Christmas up until April. So I went into that competition with good form. It just kind of took some time to bring it out of me. So I was ready in April, so it was all good being cancelled.
Well, before the Lakeside, over on the PDC side of things, we saw the extended Women's Series return with the first 4 events, 20 events this season. Firstly, how much better was it to play 2 events a day rather than the 3 a day that you had last year?
Oh, the 3 a day was just an absolute killer. By event 3, you were just dead on your feet, fatigued, tired. I don't think there was as much interest in event 3 as there was the other 2 on the day. But it's totally better the format. The event, having 2 events on the one day, you're up for it. You're motivated. You're less tired. You can prepare better. It worked really, really well.
And we have to mention that semi-final with Lisa Ashton, yourself averaging 91, losing out in a close game. I was watching along on the stream. It was a great game to watch. Despite being on the losing end, you must have taken so much away from a performance like that against Lisa.
To be fair, I know I can throw good darts, but I never expected or knew that I had it in me to hit 90 plus averages. So Lisa brought that game out of me. You have to play well against Lisa. You have to bring your A game. To average 90, I didn't mind so much losing, but I'm still thinking to myself, what do you actually have to do to win a game against her? And I just wish I kind of brought that game to the final in Bow at Lakeside, but she didn't even give me a chance to get into the game. So it's all positives, and it's all I can take from these games.
Well, it was back to the WDF tour after that, and the Lakeside rolled around at the start of April. You said before it was a dream to play in a World Championship, which you achieved in 2020. But what was it like arriving at Lakeside to play in a World Championship there for the first time?
It was a total different feeling. I was over the moon to have made the Worlds at the O2, but when I turned up at the Lakeside, I spent a couple of days before my actual game, and it was just overwhelming. I was nervous, excited at the same time, and by the Tuesday I was ready to get up there and soak in all the atmosphere, and just took it as it come. And I played some good darts. I played some really poor darts, but that's the game, and I enjoyed it, and I hope I'm there again next year.
Definitely. And as a seed, you got a bye through to the second round where you met Joe Clements, and I was looking your 2 best legs of that match, the 17-16 darters. They were the legs which clinched the 2 sets for victory. How did you reflect on that first game?
To be fair, I found that the first game, it was just steady. I had to overcome all the nerves and the emotions of going up there anyway. First game was just a steady one, but it set me up for the rest of the tournament, and I knew what else I had to kind of produce in the further stages of the game. So all positives.
And we spoke before about the close game that you had on your debut against Eileen de Graaf at the O2. You then come through 2 deciding sets in the next 2 matches. Priscilla Steenbergen in the quarterfinals, you were a set down to win that one, and we saw the celebrations as well on stage. Did that show just how much this means to you?
To be fair, the game against Aileen, I wasn't nervous in that game at all, and I think I enjoyed that game probably the most of the whole World Championships, whether it was at the O2 or Lakeside. I played really, really well there. Against Priscilla again, I didn't produce, but never in that game did I think I was going to lose either. I was just comfortable and I just couldn't G myself up to get into that next gear. But all came together in the end, and I got the job done there too. So yeah, it's a work in progress, and it all comes down to how much practice you put in the board during the week. So yeah.
You mentioned that semi-final with Rhiannon O'Sullivan, 2 sets up. Rhiannon battles back to 2. It goes all the way to a final leg. How did you hold it together in that crucial moment at the end?
I actually have no idea. When I was just cruising 2 sets up, and it came back to 2-2, I turned around and I looked at my dad in the crowd, and I just kind of muttered to him, like, what is happening here? And he kind of gave me the words, and he was like, calm down, breaths, all the support. And I just took that step back, and when I went for that winning double, I just said to myself, please go in. And it did. And that was probably my favourite game of the whole competition.
There are not many players that can say they've played in a World Championship final, even fewer who have only played in 2 World Championships. So what was it like waking up on that Sunday knowing that you would be playing in the final of what is the biggest ladies' competition?
To be fair, I had absolutely no expectations when I woke up on the day of the final. I knew what I was up against, and I watched Bo's semi-final against Lorraine on the Saturday night, and I just knew she wasn't going to crumble. She's not like that. She's very confident, is Bo, on stage, on floor. If her darts go, she's bringing a A game. She's bringing 90+ averages, and it's scary to watch, but all I could do that day was stand behind her and smile and laugh, and because I knew what was happening. So to get to that final was probably the best that I'm ever going to do. But yeah, as I say, I knew what I was up against, and I knew I was in for a total beating that day. So I just enjoyed the moment of being there.
And I think you described Bo as KFC gravy on Twitter after the final. We know you two get on well. At 18, she's become a world champion. What can you say about the talent that she has?
KFC gravy is possibly the best gravy going. And I really rate Bo. We all knew since the age of she was 11 hitting 9 darters that this girl was going to be a world champion. But to disappoint us all, it's just come sooner than we actually hoped. And the girl's going to be around for a long time, and this is who we're going to have to beat, and we're going to have to produce averages in the 90s to nearly 100 to beat her, and it's going to take somebody special to overtake what I think is about to come at Bo Greaves.
Well, we had Bo on our show a few days after Lakeside, and we were speculating with her when we would see all of the top ladies players in the same venue, in the same event. Can you see that happening at some point this year?
Well, I was hoping this weekend coming actually in the PDC at Wigan, but after speaking to Bo, she was in 2 minds whether she was doing PDC or she was going to Denmark for the gold event. I tried to persuade her to come to the PDC Women's, as she's already automatically qualified for Lakeside. She's probably not going to even be competed with on points. She's sat second in the order of merit in the WDF, and I can't see anybody catching her. So I've tried to encourage her to come to the PDC, but I'm unsure of what Bo's decided on then this weekend. But if not Bo, then Fallon Lisa. I've seen Makuru's entered for Wigan, so yeah, I think this weekend's going to be a big one.
Good stuff. Well, we saw you back in action in the Scotland Open at the weekend, semi-final of the singles. You won the pairs with Natalie Gilbert. Were you happy with how the weekend went overall?
To be fair, I never felt comfortable all weekend. And since Lakeside, to be fair, I haven't really put the practice in. I came back from Lakeside. It was straight back into my full-time job. I was making excuses, too tired. And that showed this weekend in Scotland. I kind of just scraped my way through the knockout stages and played some really good darts against Lorraine Hyde in the quarterfinals. But when it came down to the stage event, after we qualified for the pairs final at 2:00 in the afternoon, we were having to wait till 6:00 to play again, and I didn't prepare properly. So when I got on that stage, I wasn't comfortable, couldn't find where to stand, couldn't reach the board. So yeah, preparation totally wrong, and all I can do is come home and build on that, ready for this weekend.
Well, I've said in the past the WDF they should put on a World Pairs Championship for the men's and ladies, either at Lakeside or during the World Masters. Would you be up for that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, my pairs partners seem to pick me well. I don't ever enter pairs. I don't ask anybody if they'd like to play pairs on WDF events. I kind of just take that opportunity to rest and just try and get sorted for the singles. But the last couple of events, I had Vicky Pruham ask me to play. We won the Irish event, and then Natalie Gilbert asked me to play in Scotland, and we went on and won Scotland. So yeah, I'll wait and see who else would like to approach me, and we'll see how we get on then.
Before the pandemic, we saw you travelling to Germany, the Netherlands, Romania, Slovakia on what was then the BDO circuit. Have you got any plans to start travelling further afield now that things are opening up? Oh
yeah, definitely. The next one abroad will probably be June, I think, Dutch Open. But yeah, as I say, I've planned to go at them all. PDC Germany. I'll do all the European events. So yeah, it's just having that love for the game. But as I say, I need to get back on the practice board, stop the excuses, and try and get back to the level I was playing before I went to Lakeside.
Busy time. Well, you mentioned the Dutch Open. You played it in 2020. You made the quarterfinals of the singles. For those of us who haven't been before, we've always wanted to experience it. What was it like to play in an event like that?
Oh, it's just mental. It's probably the biggest competition on the whole WDF. I've seen nothing like it. Crowds, players. I mean, there's over 300 to 400 women enter that event. It's scary. Long days, but very well run. I like how they have the kind of VIP room for seeded players, just to keep you out of the way of the thousands of people that are in watching. So yeah, it's a long slog. It's the Dutch Open, but it's definitely one of the best on the tour. Well,
back to the PDC, the Women's Series is back this weekend. After this weekend, there's 4 more events before the cut-off for the Women's World Match Play. That's a one-day televised event on Sky at the Winter Gardens. I know you're excited when that got announced, and at the moment you're not far off those qualifying spots. Is that what you're focusing on for this weekend, getting to that top 8?
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm currently sat 10th in the order of merit there. I mean, the PDC are just the gifts that keep on giving. We can't ask any more from them. They're putting these televised events on. They're trying to mix us in, with the men, putting us in on their televised competitions. So yeah, I think every woman would be silly not to take up on the opportunity that the PDC are given. The more entries that we get, the longer the tournaments will run for, and the more the PDC will put the women's events on TV. So yeah, I'm definitely motivated for this weekend and try and get into that top 8 and qualify.
I think you said darts just got exciting when that announcement for Blackpool was made. It's another opportunity for the ladies which has been brought in. How do you assess the women's game right now? Is it heading in the right direction? What more can be done to keep that going?
Oh, it's 100% heading in the right direction. I don't see anything else that can be done. To be fair, they're starting. You have to start somewhere, and that's at the bottom. These ladies players are getting better. Averages are getting higher. People are putting the effort in to travel and make numbers up in these events. So yeah, I just think it's not about the organisations. It's now about players entering and making the effort to turn up to these events. Otherwise, we're not going to have them.
And away from the ladies' game, I saw you also visited the Durham Youth Darts Academy recently as well. Was that just a one-off visit? Do you plan on doing more there? What was it like seeing the youngsters in action?
No, very, very close with the Durham Youth manager, Jason Boney, helped me a lot growing up. Started his Youth Darts Academy when I was 18, I think I was, 17 or 18. Went unbeaten until I couldn't play anymore with under 21s, and I've supported them ever since. I've got younger family members now that I'm taking along to Durham Youth Academy Darts. So yeah, I like to see it doing well, and I like to see these young kids coming through. I mean, there's a massive love for darts in the North East, and it's bringing out some very, very good players.
And lastly, back to you, up to number 3 in the WDF Women's Rankings as well. You've just made that World Final. Things are looking good so far for you in 2022. What are the main goals for the rest of this year?
Main goals is focus and trying to make all of the PDC women's events, as well as try and keep in that seeded position, which makes it a lot easier to qualify and be in round 2 at Lakeside rather than going through them first round games or qualifiers. So yeah, I'm going to try and stay in that top seeded positions and make the most of PDC Women's Series.
Fingers crossed that. Well, it's going to be a busy rest of the year. Congratulations again on the final at Lakeside, Kirsty. Appreciate your time and wish you all the best for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much.